friends. Okay, so today's video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons about being a Catholic YouTuber and give some tips. I have been asked a lot if I would kind of share like what has helped me, what hasn't helped me. Is it worth being a Catholic YouTuber? So I'm going to get into it. Maybe you have no desire to be a Catholic YouTuber, but you're just kind of curious. So I'm going to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of a lot of things. And hopefully this helps you if you do want to be a Catholic YouTuber. I think it is very, very important that Catholic YouTubers are strong on this platform. I really, truly do. I think that sharing our stories, our experience will really help a lot of people. And so I'm excited whenever people say that they, are thinking of starting a YouTube channel and, ask me, for my advice. I get really excited because I think that the more we have here, the more voices speaking for God, for the Catholic faith, I think that it's so exciting. And so, so I'm all about it. Please, if you do have a Catholic YouTube channel, please link it down below. I will approve it. But I really just want to get all of your channels out there too so that people can find you and all of that. So let's get into this. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth about the pros and cons. And then, like I said, I have some tips as well on top of that. Okay, so one of the pros that I love about being a Catholic YouTuber is that I can speak openly about my Catholic faith. I absolutely love that I get to talk about God. It's in my title, so I don't feel ashamed or anything like that. I let people know right away where I stand and that this will be a Catholic channel. So the con to that is definitely the negativity. There are definitely people who seek out Catholics and want to convert you and are just really negative and mean. But even more than that, there are Catholics who are very, very hypercritical, judgmental, very mean-spirited. And those are very hard, very, very hard. You will find those anywhere though. And it took me about 2.5 years to actually kind of not care anymore about those really mean, nasty comments. And it's not that I got a ton of them. I maybe got 1 or 2 a month, but it's one of those things where I would lose sleep over it because I'm just like a very sensitive person. And like I said, it took like 2.5 years. I've been doing this for almost 3.5 years. And so this last year where I kind of just didn't care anymore has been amazing. And the great thing about YouTube is if you have a troll, which I've definitely had people who have trolled me and comment on every video and just are very negative, or they're kind of passive aggressive, and you can mute and block and delete them. And that's the awesome thing about YouTube. And it took me a while to do that because I thought, oh, that's a lack of humility on my part. But in reality, it's not something that anyone should ever have to stand for. Somebody being rude and mean to you is not something that's ever okay. So if they were to do it to my face, I would say that is not nice. What you just said was not nice, kind of thing. And so it's the same on YouTube. People can be so mean because they're not to your face. They're not saying what they would, normally say to your face. And so that's what I've come to realize, is that I am okay with that. I will just block, mute, delete them. I don't have to deal with them. And thankfully I haven't had to do that a whole lot. But there are times where, like I said, I've been trolled. The more traction I got, my videos got, the higher subscribers, the more I got of that. So the nice thing is when you first start, you probably won't get that. And that was really nice. It took me probably, I want to say 6 or 8 months to get any traction. It was very, very slow at first. And then it kind of picked up and stuff. So anyway, so that is kind of one of the cons, is that you will get negative people. So what helped me with that is just to realize that everybody on YouTube has had thumbs down, mean comments. If they're doing this consistently, that's just kind of goes with the territory. And I just wish that I had thicker skin earlier on in the game, but that's just not how God created me. So thankfully I have gotten thicker skin through the time, and now not really much people say can't like affects me. It doesn't affect my sleep or anything like that. Whereas before I used to lose a lot of sleep. Ask my husband. So it's one of those things that my husband, you know, was like, maybe you shouldn't do this anymore if it's affecting you to this degree and stuff. But thankfully I don't feel that way anymore. So so that's the hard part. A lot of people have asked about that. Also, if you feel like you have a message that you want to get out and you want to share, you can always turn off the comments. Like, that is something that, you know, that you can do. I don't really do that. There's a couple videos that I've done that with. I did one for the 54-day rosary novena because I didn't want it to get political. That's not what this channel is about. I just wanted to say, hey, will you pray this novena for our country? That's all I want it to be. But everything in YouTube and social media can get twisted, and people can just like be really mean, negative, and that's just one thing that I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna go there. So I turned off the comments. So that's something you can do too if you feel like you have a message to share. I think messages, you know, leaving the comments on is good because it brings up really good discussions and people have a lot of great wisdom to share and stuff. So so that is why I keep on the comments. Another pro to being a Catholic YouTuber is that you get to connect with so many people throughout the world. I can't tell you how many people throughout the entire world have like said, you know, hello from Brazil, hello from, you know, Africa, India, you know, all of that. And it's so neat. It's so neat to have so many connections. Also, like, connection to other moms who are in the same similar situation I am. You know, there are times before YouTube where I felt really lonely and isolated, and this has definitely been an outlet for me where I really get to connect with a lot of other moms, other Catholics, other people who love Jesus. So there's that. You reach so many different people, and it's really a neat platform to be able to talk about your faith. And there is definitely a vulnerability that you are opening up yourself and, you know, sharing a part of you. But it can be so beautiful when you get to make connections and stuff, and you don't feel so alone. Other people, you know, I've talked about, you know, having miscarriages, and other people who have just like shared that they have had miscarriages too and they struggled, and, you know, all of those, like, I've felt so many connections through the different comments and people, and also over on Instagram. Definitely I feel a connection over there as well. So so I think that is a huge pro to it. One of the cons is if you are a Catholic YouTuber, there's gonna be a lot of spiritual warfare, a lot, and it's gonna be different for everybody. You know, I think Satan is gonna play on your weaknesses. So if you're a prideful person, he's probably gonna play on that, you know, and you're probably gonna look at your numbers all the time and your views and, you know, all of that. And not to say I haven't, like, that's something that it's hard not to see because it's so blatantly right there, you know, like, oh, I lost subscribers to that video, oh no. But if you're focused on God and you're focused on doing His will instead of like focusing on pleasing others, I think that it can just move mountains within your channel, like just constantly being open to God. So spiritual warfare, it is interesting because I've definitely had comments of people who have, like, it's almost like they knew my insecurity, not being very good at YouTube and like all these things. Thankfully, like I said, now it doesn't faze me, it doesn't bother me, but it did a lot at the beginning, and that was a part of my spiritual warfare, is I just really wanted to give up. I didn't want to do it anymore. I hated having critics, I hated having haters. And it wasn't until I just fully gave it wasn't until I consecrated my channel to Mother Mary that truly everything changed for me. And I said, you know what, this is yours, God, it's not even mine. So I know, yes, people can be critical and stuff, but it has helped me to consecrate my channel to Mother Mary in so many ways, because I feel like she's just kind of taken it and ran, and And that's the way it should be, right? Like, she will bring the audience to Jesus if that's what she wants, you know, type of thing. Anyway, so there's spiritual warfare. I highly recommend, if you want to do this like really truly full time, to get a spiritual director or somebody that will help you through a lot of the hardness, because Satan doesn't like things that are good, that are going to bring people to God. And if your channel is bringing people to God, he is going to attack you. And that is something, thankfully, that I knew from the very beginning, that was going to be hard for me. You know, nobody wants to be spiritually attacked, but thankfully with God, all things are possible, and it is for God's glory, not mine. And through this channel, I've been humbled so many times. People correct me constantly, and that's okay. Like, I'm human. I do the best I can. I do, you know, the best that I can to my ability, and, you know, and that's all I can do. I'm only human, you know, type of thing. So, so definitely spiritual warfare has been really hard on me, as I'm sure it is for all Catholic YouTubers. I would say I get to impact people in their lives, like through my stories, through what God has done through my life. I get to share it to people, and those testimonies, I think, really touch the hearts of other people. It's really important to be vulnerable and to share the good and the bad, like just to be real and honest with people. There's lots and lots of peaks and valleys. So it's so crazy, because you can do a video that you're really proud of, that you think it's really gonna help people, impact them. And you know, you might get some amazing, great, very nice comments, and then one or two like super mean ones are just cutthroat. And so it's crazy, because like for me, emotionally, it was like an emotional roller coaster when I first started getting traction, because I would get like so many, you know, nice ones, and you feel like, oh good, I'm helping people, I'm making an impact. And then at the same time you get mean ones, and it would just drag you down, you know. So it is hard. Or there's times where your channel will get lots of subscribers, and then other times that you're barely getting any, and so that can go up and down and stuff. And you just really honestly, truly have to kind of block all of that out. And thankfully, since I consecrated my channel to Mary, I rarely look at like thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribers, you know, all of that, all of those things that you think impact you, but they really aren't. Like, this is all for God. It's not for my glory, kind of thing. And that's huge. I think that's huge, to go into YouTube for God's glory, not for ours, because we're not that awesome. Only God is, right? Okay, so my tips, if you want to be a Catholic YouTuber, is number one, focus on God. Do not focus on other people. Do not focus on the comments, on the mean comments, even like the comments where people might put you up on a pedestal. Like, you really have to like just be who you are and realize that you're nothing special. You're, you know, like, you're just doing God's will, and that's that, like, kind of thing. And people will tell you, I get people all the time who tell me what to do on my channel, you know, like, oh, you need to talk about this, or, you know, like the election, you need to, all of this stuff. And it's like, no, I need to pray and ask God, do you want me to talk about the election? Is that something that you want? Because you will hear a lot of loud voices of people who think that you should do something. And the truth is, you only need to do what God asks you to do. You know, that is really, truly the only thing that you have to do. So anyway, almost in a sense, I would say kind of block people out. Like, that sounds bad, but obviously, you know, make connections and love them and all of that. But just, there's so many people who have different thoughts, opinions on what you should do with your channel. And a part of me just wants to be like, go make your own channel. If you are so gung-ho about talking about the election, then you need to go start your own channel. You know what I mean? Like, if that's something you're passionate about, then you go do that. That's not really what God has put on my heart, type of thing. So, and he might change that. I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I'm open to his will. Stay true to the Catholic teachings. That is a huge thing. There are couple Catholic channels that I watch and I'm like, that's actually not true. Like, that's not what the Catholic Church teaches, you know, type of thing. And and it's hard because sometimes there are gray areas in the Catholic Church. So that's really hard, and you really have to discern and pray about those. I'm talking about very legit things. Stay true to the Catholic teachings on everything, if you are a Catholic channel, because we don't want to lead people away from what the Catholic Church teaches, because what they teach is good, honest, true. It is the true faith. So have a support group. I cannot tell you, when I first started, I think I was one of the very first Catholic Mommy YouTube channels. I don't think any other Catholic Mommy YouTube channels have continued, like, if you know, like when I did start. So they did it kind of like every once in a while. Like, this has been my mission, my passion. I feel like God has asked me to do a video at least once a week and stuff. So so I felt very isolated, very alone, very I don't know, attacked, and I didn't know where to go. So I just highly recommend forming other relationships on this platform. I am really good friends with Laura from What Laura Like. We Marco Polo all the time. So, you know, if I get like a mean comment and I, you know, need somebody to talk to about that, like, she's the one, you know, that I'm like, okay, did I say this wrong? Or, you know, it's really important to have a support group. My husband obviously is a huge support group. It is very different when you're actually doing YouTube, because it can be very isolating if you don't have other people who are, you know, in that platform and stuff. So I just highly recommend finding a group of friends. There is a Catholic YouTube Facebook group that's awesome. I haven't done much with them lately because I'm hardly ever on Facebook, but they're really awesome. I'll link them down below. I think you have to ask to join, but they're a great support group. So I highly recommend having a group, a support group. Stay consistent. So the YouTube algorithm, there is a science to it, is very big on picking up on if you're consistent or not. And from my understanding, if you do it at least once a week, then they consider you consistent. And so for over 3.5 years, I've been very consistent. I used to do 2 to 3 videos a week, which I can't believe I used to do that. But I was so passionate and excited about it that I just like kept going. And then we moved to this house last year. It was almost exactly a year. And I just, I was overwhelmed with life and with everything, that I slowed down and I started doing 1 video a week, and that was the perfect balance for me. So every Wednesday is the day that I usually have a new video, and it has been so awesome because that is the perfect consistency for me to juggle being a good wife, good mother, good homemaker, good evangelist, you know, all of those things. Otherwise, I was constantly like go, and like, you know, trying to think of my next video, which can burn you out. I was very burnt out actually around that time. So, but I still did a video a week, and it's been awesome. For me, that's the perfect balance, is doing 1 video a week. But overall, I would say stay consistent if you want to take this kind of to the next level or that type of thing. I would say if you're new at YouTube, just make every video better than the next one, because it can seem like, oh, it's overwhelming. How do I add, you know, different things or edit different ways and all of that? I use iMovie, which just comes on my computer. And so it's very basic. Unless you're like vlogging or something like that, then you might want to get something more fancier. But I vlog once in a while, but most of my videos are sit down. And so you could actually just use your iPhone really easily. Like, iPhones have great pictures and sound and all of that, surprisingly. So don't feel like you have to go, you know, buy something crazy new or anything like that. And give value to YouTube. So I know so many women who have started a Catholic Mommy YouTube channel, and they get on there and they just want to talk about themselves, which is great. I love that, but nobody really knows much about you yet. Like, you need to bring value to them before you can start just, you know, telling them about their life, you know. So I'll do laundry chats and stuff like that, because I feel like that is a way of forming relationships, and, you know, like, I personally love those. Like, when I see, you know, other Catholic YouTubers sitting down and just chatting about life. So that's why I started doing that, because I was like, that's something I really enjoy, being a stay-at-home mom, and, you know, oh, what is so-and-so up to type of thing. So that's why I started. But if all my videos were just me talking about me, then I'm not really giving value to people. You know what I mean? Like, you wanna be able to teach them something, help them to grow. So give value so that people want to come back. Also, another tip is set a little bit of time every day to do your YouTube stuff. So for me, I have 4 children, I'm pregnant with my 5th, and I don't have a ton of time, but there is a time in the day where Bella takes a nap and the boys, you know, do their own thing in the basement, and I take about an hour every day to, you know, either what video am I gonna do next, or I'm filming, or I'm editing. And so I would say be consistent and don't let it like kind of control your vocation. For me, I'm a wife and mother, and those come first before YouTube, you know, before answering comments, before, you know, all these things. So have your priorities straight, and your vocation should always come first with that. The last tip that I have is don't do it for the money. YouTube, you don't make a lot of money to begin with, like hardly anything. You would make a lot more money just going and working at a gas station than you would at YouTube, unless you're doing this consistently for years upon years. But even now, all the money I make, which is not a lot, it all goes for my children's Catholic education, which it does not cover my children's Catholic education by a long shot, but it's helping. That's one way that I'm helping my children to go to Catholic school and being able to pay for it. Otherwise, we could not afford it, pretty much. So, I've been doing this 3.5 years, so I'm making a little bit of money, but it's not like a ton, and you do get them through the AdSense or affiliate links or, you know, things like that. But I will say, like, you might get a lot of people who contact you and want you to show their products or things like that, and I just highly recommend not doing it. There was a point in my life where I was like, oh yeah, like maybe I can make this into a career and, you know, make a lot of money so my kids can go to school and we can go on vacation and, you know, all these things. And I just was, I didn't feel right about it at all, to be honest. And ever since I just let the money side go, it's been amazing. Like, I feel like the Holy Spirit really can work in me, because it's not like I'm doing it to, you know, better myself. Like, any money I make goes for my children's Catholic education. And even if I did make more than, you know, what it costs to send my kids, it would go back to the church. Like, I just kind of don't want money really a part of it. You know, whatever I get is nice, and I love it, and I say thank you, God, for that, but that is not my focus. So, like, what I mean is I get contacted quite often to do sponsored videos where I would talk about their products and why I like their products, and you should go get their product, and, you know, all this stuff. And I could potentially make a lot of money, but that is just not what I feel like God is asking me to do. And I mean, that might change. Like, if something were to happen to my husband's job, or, you know, like, and there's no judgment on people who do that. Like, that, some people, like Matt Fradd, like, he is a father, a husband, like, that's his income, like, is what he does. And so I totally get, like, why this is his career. for me, this is more my ministry, you know, and so once I took like that money aspect out of it, I am telling you, it was so relieving. It was so awesome, and I don't have to worry about that, you know, like I can just say, God, your will be done. Like, if you want to help get my kids through Catholic education, this is helping them, but if not, then that's okay. Like, then we will figure out how to do it. So so it's kind of neat. It seems kind of backwards, but I would say don't do it for money if you don't need to, you know, but if you're just starting out, you probably won't make money for, I want to say like 2 to 3 years is when I started barely making money, you know, on YouTube and stuff. So anyway, so don't do it for the money, do it for Jesus, do it for God. And if he were to ask me, please don't make any money on YouTube, I'd say, okay. Then I would take off my affiliate links and take off the ads and all of that. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that is what has helped me tremendously to do this freely and happily and not have to worry about all of the strings attached type of thing. So anyway, so those are all my pros and cons, my tips for being a Catholic YouTuber. A lot goes into it, a lot behind the scenes. You know, there's one day where I just write, I dump notes, I just take notes, then I film the next day, then I edit, then I, you know, do Instagram things, then, and I will say Instagram and Facebook has really helped me to like help get the word out about my channel too. So, so kind of connect all of those to YouTube, and that will help your growth as well. So anyway, if you have any questions, I would love to answer it. I am very passionate about this. I love that I get to evangelize, talk about God, talk about life, you know, form relationships here on YouTube. And so I'm very passionate about it. So I would love to share anything that you guys want to know. Any questions, let me know. And anyway, until next time, I will talk to you all later. God bless. Bye.